What's up, everybody? It's your boy once again, Brooklyn Mclinn. I want to talk to you guys today about banking and money and where our money comes from as a country. And I live in the United States of America. And this practice is actually true probably in 70+% of the country as far as where the money comes from. And I'm not talking about how to get money. That's a whole nother conversation that we can talk about. I'm just really focused on this and where does money come from? Okay, so it's been a week since the election. You know, a lot of people are still up in arms. A lot of people are still pissed off. There's a lot of protesting going on. Personally, I'm not surprised that Trump won because I study politics, I study history, and I think most of us live in a bubble. And speaking as, a black man, 40+ million of us, maybe, in a country of close to 400 million. So there's a lot of white Americans that came out in droves this time to vote based on what their plight is and what they felt like they needed from the government. So that's a way bigger number than we can muster up. And then you factor in a bunch of the people that didn't vote, the outcome is what it is. But I was never really, I thought it was funny, but I was never really alarmed by any of the things that he was saying, even though it has sparked some unrest. And it just goes to show how powerful the spoken word is. Like life and death are spoken from the tongue. So put any credence to it just because that's what politicians do. They talk. They tell you what you want to hear. They get in office and then they start backtracking, backpedaling, reversing position because that's just the name of the game. Politics is a reality show to me. But some people do take it to heart. And I think it's given a lot of people license to really express how they truly feel. And it's unfortunate. But me personally, I'd rather live in a society that there was a sign on the door that said no niggas allowed than a sign that doesn't say it and then you act that way when I walk in the store. So me personally, it don't really bother me that much. I mean, when you study the history, America, whether covert or overtly, has been this way since its inception. So why are we still surprised? I don't know, but I think a lot of it is because many of us were living in a bubble. It's hard for me to really take it serious because nobody really asked the questions that I'm interested in when it comes to politics. And the question that I'm interested in is, where does our money come from? Right? And why does the United States of America not have the right to create and produce its own currency? Why was that right given to the Federal Reserve Bank? Okay, so you're going to hear me talk about the Federal Reserve Bank a lot. And if you don't know, you have, at this point in 2016, you had to have heard of the Federal Reserve Bank and the Federal Reserve Chairman, whether it was Greenspan or Bernanke or the Secretary of Treasury, Timothy Geithner. Like, these are the people, the Wells Fargos, the Bank of Americas, the Chase Manhattans, the Bank of International Settlement, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. Like, these are the names and the companies that you should be paying attention to, right? But I understand that that's why I talked about not too long ago, people should vote how they feel. Because I get that there's a lot of buried history that a lot of people aren't willing to go dig up. So I'm like, yo, vote based on how you feel. Vote based on the issues that you feel affect your life. I'm okay with that. A lot of people aren't, because they haven't really done the real research, the real due diligence to dig so deep that you're not really concerned about the emotional topics. Like a lot of people were up in arms about Planned Parenthood and the right to, abort or not abort. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have a problem with somebody choosing whether or not they want to have an abortion or not. But why don't you research the root of Planned Parenthood and why that was actually created? Then make your decision and conclusions about Planned Parenthood after. That's a whole nother subject. But just briefly, Planned Parenthood was created by a lady, and I can't think of her name off the top of my head. I'll look it up. But it was created as a company to sterilize minorities. It's based in eugenics, which is a lot what Hitler talked about, and just that certain races are better than other races. And they were trying to prove that minorities, and primarily black people, were inferior. So they created this company, and they were sterilizing. They had rules. There were laws enacted in the early 1900s, all the way up to maybe like 1940, 1950, where if the court deemed you feeble-minded, they could sterilize you. Because they're like, we don't want a feeble-minded person having babies. Now, look, and don't believe nothing I say. Research it for yourself. Her name is Margaret Sanger. That's the lady's name. Margaret Sanger created Planned Parenthood. So look her up. And Hillary Clinton got an award. Got the Margaret Sanger Award. Whatever that means to you.